Hello, my loves. Welcome back to Chemistry with Kismet Tarot. I'm Monica, the Kismet Chemist. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Welcome to the family. I'm honored to have you. If you are returning, welcome back. I have missed you. In today's reading, we are going to be getting messages from beyond the veil. With Samhain approaching and the veil thinning for the past 10 days or so, since the 20th, 21st, I have really felt that power, that magnitude of spiritual energy. As I am filming this today, it is the partial solar eclipse in Scorpio. And this is a powerful energy that we're working with. It is no shock to me that this was the reading that my guides called me to do during this eclipse season, because this is all about what we need to know from the places and the people that we can't see and hear and touch in our physical world. Did you guys see that light orb? It's like literally hanging around right here, right now. This is a beautiful, thank you, Spirit, so much. That's such a beautiful confirmation of what it is that we're here to understand. There are pieces of the spiritual realm that we can see, that we can witness, but for the most part, we can't always see them. We can't always touch them. We have to rely on our third eye and not our two physical eyes. We have to rely on our spiritual hearing and not our two ears. We have to rely on our spiritual senses versus our physical senses. And sometimes we seek to connect and we just struggle to do that. Holy cow. There was just like a massive power surge. I'm hoping that this actually, all of this flows in, because this level of stuff going on never happens. The spiritual realm is eager and excited for this reading to bring forth these messages. So I am also very excited and eager to bring forth these messages. Without further ado, we're going to go over the cards. We have 4 cards, and this will actually be our last reading where we are focusing on the cards and the crystals, or the runes for the witch runes. We're going to be shifting out of this in the month of November. And just so you guys know, November is going to be labeled No Shade November. I will put that on my community tab so you guys know what the theme of the month is going to be. But we're going to look at No Shade November. We're going to look into that transformational energy that we get to harness during Scorpio season and really get deeply down into passions and creativity and the true essence of who we are, your soul, your light. All of these are themes that are designed to help you become the phoenix during this season. So without further ado, we have pile 1, and we have the Crossroads rune, as well as the card Ancestors, and it says the love and legacy of our DNA. Pile 2, we have the Waves rune, and we have Skull of Darkness and Blind Spots. Pile 3, we have the Eye rune, and we have the Veil and the Future. And pile 4, this specific rune, I have to say, first of all, we have the Scythe rune, but this specific rune has been jumping ship consistently. If that phrasing is synchronistic for you, because I feel like that was a very specific phrasing, if that's synchronistic for you, please know that there is something in this pile for you. And I wouldn't normally say that, but I can feel it, that specific phrasing is significant in this case. But this Scythe rune was literally jumping ship all the time. Eliza, when we did our collab filming, found it on the floor. And I could have sworn that it fell, but I couldn't find it at all. Like no matter what I did, no matter where I looked, I could not find it. And she found it finally. And it just, like you guys watched it just like pop out of my hands. So we do have that as a huge theme with this one. And it's no shock to me that this is the Apple card and it says risk and reward. And so without taking too much of your guys' time for this intro, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and mute my microphone and put on some music for you and allow you to really sink into the energy of the reading, really get in touch with the cards, with your intuition, with your guides, and allow yourself to be led to the card and the pile that is right for you. Hello, pile one. If you chose the first card and crystal, the Crossroads rune, as well as the card, the Ancestors, this is the message from Beyond the Veil. I wanted to start with something that I realized, and I haven't rewatched my intro, but I'm fairly certain that I misread this card because I thought I said the lore and legacy of our DNA, but this says the love and legacy of our DNA. And the energy that they want, that your ancestors are really coming forth to make you aware of, is this ruler of wands or the king of wands energy. With the crossroads stands for, in this case, the crossroads can stand for making a decision, having multiple options and no idea where to go, but it also is that obstacle energy. It's that hurdle energy that we talk about so often on my channel. With this crossroads energy, there's also this energy of fighting back or resistance or going against the grain and finding yourself coming into conflicts, coming into situations in which people actually like verbally and mentally challenge what you're saying, what you're doing, your stance on certain things. And this to me is someone who's trying to set up a business. It's someone, there's a lot of money management. There's a lot of financial issues that I'm feeling here, or I don't even know that it's necessarily financial issues so much as it's financial and money mindset. With this card, this is saying that your ancestors are coming forth to tell you that there are people in your lineage that did break away from the norm. They were people who were ostracized. They were people who were seen as, I don't want to say like wrong. I actually was hearing dirty and wrong. So there is some aspect of, it's just this energy of shame. Shame for not following the normal traditions, the societal patterns, the societal expectations of themselves, and going in their own direction. Now, the fact that I misspoke calls us to become aware of these two words, the difference between them, the energy difference between them, and what the message is between the two. So if we are talking about the lore and the legacy of our DNA, then we're talking about those stories that people tell of the weird uncle or the crazy aunt or whatever, what have you, in regards to going their own direction, doing their own thing. The ruler of wands or the king of wands is the entrepreneurial card to me. The king of pentacles is the man who has built his kingdom. But the ruler of wands or the king of wands is that I'm building my kingdom, but I'm building my kingdom in a very unique, very individual, a very inspirational way. It goes against the norm. It goes against the grain. There is a leadership quality that is written in your DNA. It's part of your lore, part of your legacy. However, these stories that we tell, and your ancestors want you to know that the stories that are told are not always an accurate depiction of the person who went their own way. They are more of a depiction of the fear of the people who were watching it. And when people that we love watch us do things that take us out of the norm, that put us out of our comfort zone, that really call us to change the ways in which we move in the world, and it goes against everything that they've known, their fears are what become the proponent of the lore and the legacy that is told throughout your history. That conflict energy of it, because you've gone your own way, because you've chosen a direction that goes against the norm. Now, I'm letting you know, love is your nature. And your ancestors are letting you know that at the core of this, whenever someone feels a sense of fear surrounding someone in their family doing something different, even it could even be a friend group that this would apply to. It can be just about anything. When someone feels fear and it comes off as judgment, in reality, the fears and the worries that people have for each other are sourced in love. It's a distorted perception and a distorted manner of showing that love, but it's still sourced in love. Now, your ancestors are coming forward to let you know that this way of being that you want to do, this business idea or this way of living or this new area, new venture, it's part of your legacy. It is part of your nature. It is absolutely 100% natural to you. It comes naturally to you. And so this is something awakening within you, and you're meant to love and nurture this part of yourself because it is part of your legacy. It is part of what you're here to build, and you are here to build your own legacy for your own family. And this doesn't, and when I say family, I use that very loosely. If you guys haven't caught my parents series, which, I will be continuing very soon, I promise I will be continuing that because I still have quite a few of those planned. When we're looking at our parent series, we're looking at all the different ways we talk about what family is. And our ancestors are our family. But we talk about soul family, soul tribe. Those are people that we may not be related to in this life, but they still feel like family. We talk about our chosen family, our chosen lines, but we also are born into families, and we can have conflict with those families. Sure. I mean, I'm no stranger to that. I have plenty of conflict with my family. But does that mean that we don't love each other? No. Some people just simply don't know how to show love in the ways that we need to be shown love. And if we know the ways we need to be shown love, we can actually start a new legacy by stepping up and saying, this is how I need you to love me. This is how I need you to show me that you love, because this is how I translate actions and words and responses into love. This way that is your nature, or this way that is your reaction, your worry, your fear, your stress, that I understand is your way of showing love, but it is not my way of receiving love. And so we have a disconnect. Can we discuss this? Can we talk about how to work around this? Where I acknowledge that these are things that you do and you do them in a state of love, but you also acknowledge that this is what I need to feel truly loved. This is what I need. This is what my heart needs. This is what my inner child needs. And your ancestors are saying love is your legacy. Love is your nature. And so with that, there are things awakening within you that are calming your energy down, that are settling your energy into a state of peace and serenity, into strength and resilience. There's so much energy coming off of this tree with its roots. All I am feeling is this stability, this groundedness, this rootedness, this understanding, this awareness, this connection. You guys may have connections to ancient times, Lemuria, Celtic times, Germanic times, Native American, I'm getting, California prior to the gold rush is coming through. That's really specific, but I'm seeing like redwoods. And I know that for me correlates to California, but I'm sitting here and I'm looking at this, and it's like you have such deep connections to the earth. You have such deep wisdom inside of you based off of the love that you have. Now, the other thing that your ancestors and spirit really wanted me to talk about is the nature of our DNA and how epigenetics have changed and biologics have changed. And I was actually brought to Joe Dispenza. And I have to be 100% honest with you guys. I have read very, very minimal of Joe Dispenza. However, about 3 weeks ago, I was contracted to come and do a spiritual cleanse for a family. They had been having some pretty severe, pretty serious negative spiritual activity at their house. And I came to do a walkthrough, and I was telling them, because it was the first time we had ever met in person. It was a referral from someone that I had met randomly at Walmart. And I was talking to them about this thing that I did to heal myself. And they're both psychological counselors. Like they own a counseling center here in my local hometown. And they looked at me, and one of them, the husband, looked at me and he said, "You sound just like Joe Dispenza. Have you ever heard of him?" I was like, "I've heard of him, but I've never, read his stuff or anything like that. I've never really looked into it. I do have one of his books on my Kindle, but it's been sitting there like barely read because I opened it after he mentioned him." But the funny thing is Joe Dispenza works with epigenetics. Now, we inherit certain things in our DNA. We inherit certain things, illnesses, physical things. And I have to preface this with, I am not a medical professional. I am a holistic healer with a lot of qualifications. And I worked in the medical field as a CNA, but I'm not a medical doctor. So please take this with an awareness of that, and contact your medical professional if you feel like you need to change anything. But the point of this is that I found out years ago, back in the summer of, I want to say it was summer of 2019, I did a genetic study. And in the spring of 2020, I had started getting really, really, really sick, like horribly, horribly sick. And with everything going on, I was constantly swabbed, constantly tested, always came back negative. So they would put me on antibiotics. They would put me on steroids. We knew I had an immunodeficiency, but we couldn't figure out why I couldn't take the medication for it. So we did this genetic study, and we weren't really finding much of anything with the genetic study in regards to the medicine until the spring of 2020, where I started looking into the genome mapping. And when I looked into the genome mapping, we realized that that my saliva is a different genetic makeup than my blood and my bone marrow. Essentially, what we learned is that I have 2 different lines of DNA. Now, this happens when you are what's called a vanished twin. I am a womb twin survivor. My twin brother died in the womb, and I absorbed him, and he died prior to, and I don't know how I know this, but I just know it. He died prior to hitting 7 weeks, and that would have actually happened November 9th to 11th. I actually went and checked based off of due dates and everything like that. But when we looked at his DNA, when we looked at that genome, all of the medical issues I had been having were explained by this genome. Every single one to a T was explained by this genome. But it was a masculine DNA, different blood type, different Rh factor. Everything about this line of DNA was different, except that the pathogenic genes for specific illnesses manifested in my life. And then I came to a time where the doctors were telling me that I had a brain tumor. And they were consistently saying, you need to go to the ER, you need to go to the ER. Well, this was in October of 2020. And if you know anything about what that time frame was, and I'm trying to mince my words really carefully, I just saw 1414, and for some reason it just really stuck out. So 14 may be significant for you. But they were telling me during this time to go to the ER. And like I said, if you know anything about this time frame, you know that the ER was not the place to be because a deadly virus was running rampant, and there were literally people lining the hallways, and they were dying, and I had no immune system, and this was well known. But I also had very serious, very obvious brain tumor symptoms. I was apathetic. I had aphasia. I had constant debilitating migraines. I had a change in my vision that was actually documented by the optometrists. Like, I developed an astigmatism at the age of 33. It was terrifying. And they were 100% certain I had a rapidly growing brain tumor. And they kept going, go to the ER, go get yourself checked out, go to the ER. And I said, no, because it's damned if I do, damned if I don't kind of situation. Now, the reason why I'm telling you guys this is because I knew at that point, I knew about my second line of DNA. I knew that I had 2 lines of DNA, and I knew that both of them were somewhat broken. And so I went through this struggle, and it was like the universe backed me into a corner and said, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And of course, Pluto's transiting my 6th house of health. And Pluto really was putting the pressure on. What are you going to do? It was that shit or get off the pot moment that I like to talk about. It was literally like I had to do something. I had to change something. So what did I do? I quit drinking, and then I started doing research and using sound wave therapies and using breathing techniques and transforming my life. I started coming out of the state that I was in. I could actually feel emotions again. I could talk. But in a big way during that time, I was in the middle of a spiritual awakening while the doctors also believed I had a brain tumor. And it was that moment that pushed me into realizing what I contained within myself, because I decided if I've got 2 lines of broken DNA, can't I just mentally decide to fuse them together to make one whole DNA strand that's healthy, that is whole? And I just decided to do that. And I made this grand proclamation And at that time, I had no idea what I was doing. All I knew was that I needed to heal because I have 4 kids and a husband and cats and dogs and a life that I have not lived because at that point, I was still a victim. I was still in victim mentality. So this was when I broke out of victim mentality for myself. Was I can't trust medical doctors. I have to do this on my own. And the thing is it's something that was written deep within me. It was written within my very DNA. Now, the reason why I'm telling you guys this story is because that was a very ruler of wands moment. I had all this conflict, everything coming at me, telling me to do something different. And I had no idea which way to go. And all I could do was trust my intuition. I had no idea what intuition was at that point. I mean, I knew what it was, but I had put myself into a sleep state or a sleeping state so much, like I had dug my grave into the matrix, guys. Like, no joke. I was so far removed from the psychic world because I was terrified of my gifts. I was terrified of what I contained within myself. But in that moment, what I contained within myself was the only thing that was going to save me. And your ancestors are coming through and asking me to share this story because they want you to be aware that this is not something that's specific to me. Everybody has these things, these blessings, these gifts within themselves, and it's sourced in a state of love. It's like little tiny Easter eggs hidden inside of your DNA, hidden inside of your body, just waiting for you to tap into that unconditional universal love that we all have access to and awaken them. And when you do, you'll see that all of the conflict that you've run into, especially in your family right now, has literally just been sourced out of love, and that they do truly believe in you. Even if they cannot show you in the way that you feel like you need to be shown, they do truly believe in you. So let's get the messages. These are going to be messages about the past, and these are going to be messages about the future. So let's see the messages about the past. Yeah, we have 7 of Swords and the Sovereign of Coins, or the Queen of Coins. So this is literally like, I you know what? I did say that I was picking up a lot of financial energy and money mindset stuff. And this is what that is saying. The 7 of Swords with the Queen of Coins, or the Queen of Pentacles, is literally saying you deceive yourself in what you can and cannot create. You deceive yourself in the realms of what nurturing you can have it and do and create and nurture, as far as a business or a creative project or a creative lifestyle, is what I'm hearing. And this 7 of Swords is literally a mindset of deception. It's like you're constantly deceiving yourself. You may have heard a lot in the past, money doesn't grow on trees, money doesn't come so easily. You have to work hard to be able to, work hard, play hard kind of thing. In order to play hard, you have to work really hard. You have to work all these excessive hours in order to be able to maintain or build what you want. And it may be that from your mother's line, your ancestral mother line here, because that's what I'm picking up with the Sovereign of Coins. From your mother's line, there's a lot of belief in the ways in which we're meant to make money, the ways in which we're meant to be in that divine feminine energy. The divine feminine energy is what I'm picking up. Please know that this is me channeling. I want to say that immediately because I disagree with this in its entirety. But what I'm picking up is the divine feminine is here to take care of the house and the kids and make sure everything is settled and nurtured, which is great, but not to make money. And that to me is a hugely diminishing role. It's kind of like, well, I'll humor you, but that's not what you are meant to be doing. And that's literally a form of self-deception. And it's actually a form of self-harm. When you tell yourself, I have to be relegated to this role and this lifestyle, and it's not true to your soul, you're actually harming yourself. You're harming your soul. And that builds and builds, and that starts harming your body. So what I'm seeing with the Seven of Swords and the Sovereign of Coins is that there's a lot of deceptive mindsets in your past that you inherited surrounding whether or not you could actually do this, whether you were actually capable of building a business, whether or not you were actually capable of standing in your masculine power and moving that forward. So you may identify as feminine. And this is non-gender specific. Like you may identify as a man who is just far more deeply ingrained in your divine feminine, which is awesome. Keep going. Please do. Or you could be a female in this life. And because of that, you have really had to struggle against being able to be one of those empowered women because you have to break out of such toxic, negative mindsets and really like true self-deception about what you're capable of creating and nurturing into existence in this world. It's like you want to combine these two energies, but in the past, you've been stuck in this state of, I can't actually create it. I can't actually have this life because I'm not meant to. Wow. I got to tell you guys that I feel this message inside of my soul as well. So I do very much resonate with you guys on this one. So let's look at the future. We have the Nine of Cups. I almost don't want to pull this just because like this energy is like, oh my God, are you kidding me? It's about damn time. And the Seeker of Wands, I love that. Oh my gosh. You guys, your ancestors are amazing. Your ancestors are coming through and saying your happily ever after exists when you get curious and you allow yourself to be the Seeker of Wands. Now, the Seeker of Wands is literally the Page of Wands. And the page cards are all my favorite. You may actually be receiving some sort of correspondence. It could be an email. It could be a text message. It could be a phone call. It could just be like, it could even be a letter in the mail. But yeah, I'm just super drawn to the envelope there. But it's almost like you're packing away your inhibitions and you're choosing, and your ancestors are saying like, do this, pack away your inhibitions, put it in a letter, like for your past self or something, and then let it go. Let go the past inhibitions surrounding this energy, because moving forward, and I'm going to switch them just for the sake of the lighting. There we go. So you guys can see that Seeker of Swords or Seeker of Wands a little bit better. Let's move them down here like this. So this is saying that the more curious you get, the more that you feed into that inner child energy with the Seeker of Wands, the more that you really give to your inner child, the more that you're going to see all the possibilities and the potentialities. Now, the best part about these cards is something that I never realize like in its entirety is behind the image, the golden image, there is actually landscapes. And look, the Seeker of Wands, you can see the outline of the mountains here. But in the Nine of Cups, you're at the mountains. You can see the snow on the mountains. You're elevated up into the mountains. It's seeing where you want to go, and then you're getting there. Literally, what you perceive, you will be. Like, what it is that you believe in yourself is what you will create for yourself. There's a really strong energy here of your mindset is going to set you free. And that's such a beautiful, beautiful energy. Like I'm so, I'm so amazed by it. Look, we have the card higher perspective. This is exactly what I was saying. What you perceive and believe, you will be. So when you are able to, and the higher perspective literally combines the colors of these two cards. When you can see this energy and this awareness and this lesson from a higher perspective, oh my God, we've got compassion. Then you can understand the ways in which we talked about you being able to be loved in the right way or speak about the way that you need to be loved. when you can see this energy from a higher perspective, you can actually let it go and hold on to a higher perspective, but still have compassion for your younger self, for your past self, for your ancestors who came before you, for your parents who established this, or grandparents who established this mindset, because they were doing the best they could at any given point in time. They were doing the best that they could in the situation they were in. And this compassion card is saying, when you do this, you can combine and move yourself into this state. And again, we've got, I want to say there's mountains here again, because it's like a mountain goat or some sort of deer. I can't remember, but I don't want to pull the book on it. But this is saying literally, and on the back we have soul work. So this is quite literally saying you will, when you harness this compassionate energy, this awareness, this understanding of what came before, and you honor that, but you do the work for your soul. So you no longer stay in that mindset of, I have to do this and this and this. So you're no longer hurting your soul. You're no longer hurting yourself. You have shifted into doing this soul work. This soul work is going to breed and build more compassion in your life. And this higher perspective that you have of what came before is what's going to set you free. So let's just get a couple of closing cards, closing energies, closing messages from your ancestors. Ancestors of pile 1. Ancestors of pile 1. Can we get some closing messages? We have the card 45, dream sweet, sleep deep. Sleep that's deep and lasts till morn. Wondrous dreams for days reborn. And then we have the card 35 with victory. I shall celebrate and I shall rise. I will let victory make me wise. And on the back, we have courage. By shining brave and true and bright, my courage now returns this night. So if you guys notice, all the colors are really that darker green, blues, purples, and it's the yellows here. It's your ancestors are helping you align your higher chakras with your solar plexus here. And you may receive a lot of messages in your sleep. And so, or even the other energy that I'm getting is some of you may worry a lot. And that worry may be very similar to the past. And all of this, okay, that makes sense. They want you to know that all of this energy here is all kind of tied together. The less you sleep, the less clear your mind is, the harder it is to see a higher perspective. So if you are struggling to sleep, if you have insomnia or you're struggling to sleep and everything that you've tried doesn't work, try just laying your head down and saying, dream sweet, sleep deep, and then asking your guides to help you fall into a restful state. I have to tell you guys, I actually use this card on a regular basis. I use it, like I say that specifically and do this technique because I tend to be an insomniac. I go through these insomniac phases. But the more sleep you get and the higher you elevate your perspective, that's when you move into this victory. And it's through compassion and forgiveness that you will find your victory. And I know that can be hard to think about and to say, especially right now in the energy that you're in, because this crossroads is sticking out to me again. Like I have all this conflict and everybody fights against me and everybody's challenging me. But you need to challenge yourself on this one to be more compassionate for yourself, with yourself, but also with what came before. Your ancestors really did do the best that they could. I know it may not seem like it at times, but they genuinely did. And they did it from a state of love. And they love you so much. They love you for the courage that you have, for the work that you've done on your soul, for the work that you've done for your entire soul family. It doesn't go unnoticed at all. So moving forward, really understand that you are meant to rest more, to balance this out, but you're meant to create this life outside of what other people say that you can or cannot do. Your ancestors are behind you. They are rooting for you. They are cheering for you, and they are there supporting you and loving you through this. All right, pile 1. This is all I'm seeing and hearing for you guys. I want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you to your guides and my guides for facilitating the connection between our energies. Thank you so much to your amazing, loving, wonderful ancestors for coming through with these powerful messages beyond the veil. And thank you so much to Spirit for always working with me and co-creating this life with me and helping share with others how we do this and how we work together and how loving you are by allowing for your messages to be channeled through me. So thank you so much, Spirit. As always, I love you so much. Pile 1, if this resonated, please hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Down in the description box below, you will find links to my author page on Amazon so you guys can grab that Mars retrograde guidebook. We are into the retrograde season now by the time, today actually marks the, today is the day before because this is going to be out on the 29th. So today marks the day before Mars goes retrograde. And it takes a few days for them to print the books and get them out. So make sure that you order your copy soon. That way you guys really work with the energies and not against it. It's going to be so, so important. And especially for creatives and business owners, this is the best time to do things. I just can feel that energy. So there are also links to donate to my channel as well as links to book a personal reading with me. And let us know down in the comment section below how this resonated. I would love to hear from you. All right, pile 1, I love you guys so much. I will see you all at my next reading. Bye. Hello, pile 2. If you chose the second rune, the Waves rune, as well as the Skull of Darkness and Blind Spots, this is your message from Beyond the Veil. So the first thing that I wanted to mention is down here we have your current energy. And you are in this 4 of Wands energy. And I need to actually move this up here because there's something different about this specific 4 of Wands, and it is that wishbone. And I gotta be honest with you guys, like the energy that's coming from Beyond the Veil, it is some sort of, it feels like a guide, but it feels like a guide that would have been alive in this life with you. It could be a father or a grandfather. It's got that very masculine energy to it. And it's literally like, the energy is filtering in through one of my guides, who is my father. So I have to tell you guys, like, my dad was kind of a boisterous person when he was alive. And so when something filters through my dad, it's kind of a no holds barred. I'm going to go all out because my dad can, in the afterlife, my dad can be pretty, well, I'm going to say pretty extra. But what I'm seeing here is the Skull of Darkness and Blind Spots. This particular guide, father or grandfather figure, very, very cut and dry, very like to the point on this, is saying there's a level of illumination that you're intentionally blinding yourself to. This is an awareness within your own mind that has been like, I'm seeing a door and I'm seeing like a disembodied hand just knocking and knocking and knocking and knocking at the door. Like literally, you actually may have been hearing knocking sounds at night, like on your door or on your walls, like that's kind of how I'm hearing it, like a 1 1 2 1 1 2. And that may be very, very specific for 1 or 2 of you. But if you've been hearing knocking or kind of like footsteps or anything like that, it's more along the lines of they're trying to get you to open the doors of your mind here. We can have massive blind spots in specific areas of our life. And these blind spots come from traumas. They come from experiences. I don't even want to say traumas, just because that's it narrows it so specifically, and it's not always a traumatic situation. Sometimes our blind spots are literally just created from how we grew up. Now, with the waves rune, especially here, you're blinding yourself to the ebbs and flows of your own nature, and that is impacting your wishes and your dreams and your happily ever after, which is a common theme on my channel, like this desire for happily ever after and the reality of happily ever after, and then moving yourself through understanding the reality. This has been a common theme. So if you have picked any of the piles in which I have said the words happily ever after, take this as your confirmation that you're at the right place. And then stop beating yourself up for having to hear this message on repeat, because sometimes I used to do this too, where I would have to hear the same thing on repeat, and it would have to be like, I would pull my own cards and journal it, and then I would have to hear it from like 2 or 3 other readers on YouTube or in my personal life before I was like, okay, I might be right. And that was my big blind spot, was I just really struggled with trusting myself. Now, the 4 of Wands literally talks about harmony in relationships, happiness, celebration, success. In a big way, success. But with the wishbone here, what I'm seeing is there's one blind spot that you have that this particular guide in your life wants you to be aware of. And I'm trying to I'm trying to move through the energy, because I expected this to be like one that was like super frustrating, but it's almost like they're chuckling. They're like, it's such a simple blind spot. It's such a simple blind spot, but the reason the blind spot is there is complicated. The reason the blind spot is there has more to do with what's holding you back than the actual blind spot itself. And the blind spot itself is literally the wishbone. It's literally your willingness to make a wish. Oh, I did a reading a while back, and I'm actually being shown it. And I tend to forget when I channel. Like I let myself get lost in the channeling, so I tend to forget a lot of what I say. But now I'm seeing that Divination of the Ancients card and Shooting Star confirmation, and I'm literally hearing Wish Upon a Star, like starlight, star bright for a star I see tonight. I don't know what reading it was. I can't remember, but I'm hearing that again. And this is, again, a reconfirmation, again, from a father archetype. Maybe that was my Saturn reading, but from a father archetype that is saying, go make a wish. Stop holding yourself stop holding yourself back. I'm getting ahead of myself. Stop holding yourself back, because if you look at this 4 of Wands, the wish that you have to make is quite literally a seed that you're going to plant. And these seeds, I love these seeds because they're seeds and they have the Roman numeral of 8. And 8 is about abundance. So you are being called to literally make a wish that plants a seed of abundance. And how do you do this? What is the wishbone most closely associated with? Think about that for a minute. We're moving into the month of November. November is the month in which the United States celebrates Thanksgiving. In a turkey, there is a wishbone. Wishbones are associated with the turkey. Wishbones are associated with Thanksgiving. Just like this is a natural progression in my brain. It may not be in yours because you may be from a country that doesn't celebrate the same way that we do. So it's understandable if my progression is like a dawning realization for you, like, oh, that makes sense because you don't celebrate. Because I do know that I have a lot of subscriberships and viewerships outside of the US. But when we celebrate Thanksgiving here, we traditionally cook a turkey, carve the turkey, and then you're very careful to make sure that you keep the wishbone separate. Now you take the wishbone out of the turkey and you hang it up so that it can dry out, because otherwise the bones aren't brittle enough to be able to separate. And the whole premise of the wishbone is that 2 people hold it and they're both making a wish, and they pull it apart, and whoever has the bigger portion of it So whoever has the portion that will break and it'll look like that. Let me see if I can, there we go. It'll look like that, gets the wish. But what if you're making one wish and you're holding both sides of the wishbone? Now the wish is going to be granted, because no matter whether it's the right or left side, no matter which hand it is, you're the one making the wish. This is literally what your guides are saying. It's time for you to make that wish for abundance. Now the problem, the blind spot with that is not the unwillingness to make a wish. It's not the not knowing what to make a wish on. What it is the key factor to it is what we celebrate Thanksgiving for. And this is not a history lesson. I'm not going to get into indigenous people and Christopher Columbus and the first people in the Mayflower and any of that. No, Thanksgiving is about giving thanks. It is thanksgiving. It is giving thanks. It is saying, I have gratitude in my heart. It is this. It is this exactly. It is being thankful, grateful, and understanding how truly blessed you are. It is living in that state of awareness. And this is what the one thing that is your blind spot, because your energy right now is focused on, how do I get this? How do I attain this? How do I achieve this? How do I bring it in? How do I create it? And it's more of a driven masculine energy of let me do instead of being able to receive. You give thanks, you receive blessings. It is quite literally that simple. And this is something that I learned when I started working with the planets and started working with Jupiter. When Jupiter goes in retrograde, Jupiter is seen as the planet that gives abundance when he's direct. And then when he goes retrograde, he's seen as the planet that takes blessings away and creates bad luck, but that's not the case. What he's doing is balancing things out. So if he is a giving planet, if he gives of abundance, gives of gratitude, gives of these things to the outside world, then when he pulls into retrograde, he's pulling us inward to give freely so that we may receive what gifts he has to offer when he's direct. Now, I didn't write his retrograde guidebook this year, but I will be writing one for him next year. But this is a huge energy within Jupiter. Right now, Jupiter is saying, give thanks every day. Every day, wake up and give thanks for something. And it doesn't have to be anything huge. This will help obliterate your blind spot, because what you'll see is that you've already planted this seed. You've already made your wish. You're already living that lifestyle. You're already living that. And you'll start to see that illumination every single day. I started a gratitude journal back in 2020 after my kids were forced to go back to their dads from a really nasty court case. The courts had removed my ex-husband's visitation rights, and then they reinstated them. And during that time, my kids and my husband all went and spent Christmas Day with my ex-husband and his wife and his family. And I was told that I wasn't welcome there because what my ex-husband said in court was that I couldn't be there. And so I spent Christmas Day of 2020 alone. It was one of the hardest days of my life. My kids were distraught. They were so upset that they were being forced back to this house of horrors, essentially, after almost a year of the court saying, no, they don't have to go. And it was so traumatic. So what did I do that day? I was pissed. I was mad at the world. I was mad at spirit. I was so mad at spirit because I was like, what the hell is going on? And I had misplaced my rage, and then I just kept hearing gratitude. And I was about 2 months sober at that point, and all I wanted to do was pour myself a glass of wine. All I wanted to do was drink it away. That's it. I was alone, and all I wanted to do was drink it away. And so instead of drinking it away, I got out a new journal and I started writing gratitudes. I faked the fuck out of it, guys. Like, I'm not even joking. I faked the fuck out of that. For about a year, I faked gratitude. I wrote the words, but didn't feel the emotion. And so life did not turn around for me at all. Life has just started turning around for me. And why? It's because I literally just started understanding the nature of gratitude. I started understanding the feeling of it because this is the first time in my life that I can truly, fully feel it, where I don't second guess it. And it's because of this waves rune. This waves rune talks about cycles of life. It talks about karmic cycles. It talks about the ebb and flow. It talks about feeling like you are pulled underneath the surface, caught in a riptide, and you have to fight to get your head up. But some of us are like the salmon, and we know how to swim upstream against that current. Some of us know how to keep going to what we know is the right place and the right people and the right area and the right dream and the right wish and the right goal. And that means that we have to embody the salmon. Your blind spot is that you're continually trying to flow with the trout instead of be the salmon. You are the salmon. That means that the wish and the hopes and the dreams and the goals that you have are calling you in a different direction. They're calling you to go against the grain, to go against the tides, because your natural ebb and flow actually goes against the natural tides. It goes against the divine tides. You are created unique and different, and you create this blind spot of, no, I'm the same as everybody else, but you're not. And the more that you fight against this feeling of, I have to be like everybody else, instead of embracing your own uniqueness, your own divinity, your own path, your own truth, your own planted seed, the further you go from the garden. And you're meant to go upstream towards the garden, because the garden is where you have already planted your seed. It's where your wish is. And you've pulled on both sides of the wishbone, and the wish is meant for you. And your blind spot is that you're not seeing that you already planted the seed of this and it's already growing. But you're going against your natural ebb and flow. You're going against your natural tide in order to try and fit within the flow of someone else or something else. And this is a hard truth to face. I had to face this truth. I was doing YouTube videos and making videos and content that went completely against who I am, because I thought I needed to be somebody else. I thought I needed to be like other people. I thought I needed to do the things that these other people were doing because that's how they found success. But success is found internally. It is never, ever found externally. And we have to really think about how we blind ourselves to our own personal successes by defining things based off of what society says we have to define it on. You're learning here and now, but also you have been learning that your happily ever after actually exists going against the current, going against the tide, going against what everybody else is saying and doing what is right for you. That's the nature of the revolutionary, the innovator, the pioneer, and that's who you are. And you can keep blinding yourself to the fact that you're the one holding both sides of the wishbone, so the wish is going to come true. Or you can say, hey, the wish is going to come true. Why don't I just follow what feels right to me? Because when you do that, you surrender to your own divine flow, your own divine timing, your own divine ebbs and flows and cycles. And that's when you transform. So let's get this awareness here. This is messages from the past, and this is messages moving forward into the future. This is going to explain why you struggle with the gratitude thing. So we have the Conqueror of Wands, which is the Knight of Wands, and the Ruler of Cups, which is the King of Cups. So this is telling me some of you may have lost your father when you were young. Teenagers is what I'm picking up, especially with this Conqueror of Wands. Teenagers to early 20s, you may have lost your father. And I will always say that there is a quote from Grey's Anatomy that I actually resonate with so deeply that I have used this quote multiple times in my life. There's a scene in season 3 where George's dad dies, and he said, I don't know how to live in a world where my dad doesn't, or my dad doesn't exist. It's something like that. And Christina looks at him and she says, yeah, that never goes away. And I'm telling you guys, it doesn't go away. This is the nature of what it means to have a paradigm shift. But a loss like that, for those of you who lost a father, or you lost a strong emotional masculine archetype, or for some of you, you never actually had that. And so you didn't have that structure of masculine energy enough to feel like you could be grateful for masculine energy. And so you just, it's this awareness, or this lack of awareness within. And I don't say lack like lack mentality. I mean, like, it didn't exist in your reality. It simply didn't exist in your reality. This sense of being able to be grateful for this father archetype role. And that's why this archetype is coming forward from behind the veil, is saying, or from beyond the veil, it's saying that he said, so the energy that I'm picking up is saying here, I'm gonna surrender and let it just channel through me here. Please stop holding on to what never existed in your reality. Please just let go of this and realize that I'm always one step away. I'm always one call away. It may not be on the phone, but is speaking out into the air, into the room, into existence any different than picking up the phone? You may not have had this structure in your earlier life. You may not know what this structure is, what this gratitude for having a strong, firm, masculine role in your life is. But does that mean that you can't have it now? No. You have these beautiful gifts. You have this beautiful awareness, but you keep blinding yourself to the level of illumination that you have, the level of revelation, the level of enlightenment that you have, the level of psychic gifts that you have. You blind yourself to this. And when you blind yourself to this, you blind yourself to our connection. I may not be here anymore, but I can still come forward and we can still connect. All you have to do is speak it out, speak it into existence, speak me into existence, because we have the ability to have this connection, even if I am not here in the physical. Wow. Okay. So essentially, it's hard to see happiness when it's in front of you, when you don't know it. It's hard to see a happily ever after, or a wish, or a dream come true when you don't have that experience. And now I'm being brought to my own life to be able to correlate for you how I struggled to see the fact that I struggled to see my worthiness in regards to promises. So I lived a life where promises were continually broken by people in my life. And this was because I felt like I believed that I was not worthy of promises being kept. And it was after my dad died, and it was many, many years later that I came into this revelation that my dad who had been an alcoholic, who had been a drug abuser, my dad who had been just like a terrible person for a lot of his life, broke every promise to me save for one. The one promise that he kept to me was that he was going to get sober. I had a sober dad for 15 days before he died, but he stayed sober for 15 days, which was 8 days longer than he had ever stayed sober after a treatment round. 8 days longer. His longest duration prior to that was 1 week. That is how severe his addiction and his need to bury himself and his pains and his traumas and his wounds and his gifts in the bottle was. But I had a sober, clean dad for 15 days of my life. And in that, he died, which means that he never once broke that promise. He stayed clean and sober his entire life from the point on that he promised to me. And so in that revelation that I had years ago, it was this understanding that I had a frame of reference, even though I struggled to see it, because it was so clouded with trauma and loss. It was so clouded with sadness and what was taken, that I wasn't able to see what was being gifted to me in that moment. I couldn't see the blessing. All I could see was the pain. If you can't see the blessing and all you see is the pain, you can't have true gratitude for the moments of pain. And this is telling me right here, and your guide that's coming through, whether it's your father or your grandfather or just someone who played that role in your life, coming forward and saying, you have to see the blessing in the pain. You have to see the blessing in the loss. You have to see the blessing in what was taken away, because there is one there. There are multiple there. And when you do, you will see how grateful you are meant to feel for the experience that you had. So let's look at the future. We have the Seeker of Swords. This is the Page of Swords. And then we have the 10 of Wands. This is amazing. After this message, what your guides are saying is rely on me, count on me, call on me. Go seek within yourself those clear-cut mentalities that have been holding you down, that have been weighing you down, that have been like this burden that you have been bearing that you weren't ever meant to carry. Go seek clarity and peace. See things in a different light. When you see things in a different light, this 10 of Wands will end up reversing so that the burdens get lifted from you. You've been carrying things for so long that you don't need to carry, and now you have the ability to free yourself from it. But you have to be able to see what you've been carrying unnecessarily first. So let yourself get curious. Let yourself question. All right, we have, wow, you guys had 4 of them. We have speak truth. We have soul work. We have reclaim. And then we have the universe. And on the back of the deck, we have the creator. And I'm going to put that here. Do you guys remember when I said I was so mad at spirit I technically I won my court case because he was suing me for custody and the courts were like, yeah, no, bro. I have to speak glibly about it like that because otherwise it's just like a really painful experience. But I blame the universe. I blame spirit for forcing my kids back into it. And it was because I didn't understand at the time what was going on. What was going on was a catalyst moment for me to be like, okay, I have to make a change. I have to have a voice. I was stripped of my voice in that courtroom. My daughter was stripped of her voice in that courtroom. There was no justice. And so I took justice into my own hands in my own way. And I spoke out. I started speaking out. I started speaking my truth. And when I did that, I started really healing my soul. Now, this is the reason why I'm mentioning all of this is because there is that same energy. You need to speak this truth out. You need to see the pains that you've been in and then say, I'm not going to hold on to this anymore. I'm going to speak something more into existence. I'm going to take this sword right here, and I'm going to speak my truth. I never had this in my life, and so this is what I need. This is what I desire. This is what I wish for. This is a seed I'm planting because I may not have had that structure, but I will and I do deserve to have that structure, so I will create it. I will do the work, and I have done the work. And then when you realize that when you speaking the truth about what didn't happen and what did happen, and then you genuinely finding the truth of the blessings that is hidden within it. Just like I said with my dad dying, I had to find the blessing. It was not an easy journey to find a blessing in literally watching your dad die on the side of the road when I was 10. It's not easy to find the blessing in that. But I did. And because I did, I literally took pieces of my soul and put them back together like a puzzle piece. And what you have this capability of whatever situation it was. And it doesn't have to be a father. I mean, that energy is really strong, but it's filtering through my dad as a guide. This is going to help you reclaim your power, your energy, your magic. And the universe, and reclaim your connection to the universe, your connection to being a creator or a co-creator of your life, your connection to spirit. And Spirit is always seeking for us to connect deeply with that energy. Okay, so can we get some closing messages for pile 2? Closing messages for pile 2. All right, we've got 2 of them here. We have Safe Home, the card 39. I cast the circle round about. Safety now is beyond doubt. And then 36, study. Look, let my mind be clear and strong. Let me study well and long. See, this is what I said. You're aiming for clarity. You are going in to get clarity. You need this clarity in your mind. So this is literally about you studying yourself. But this safe home, this is bringing me to this energy of the knocking and the steps and feeling like there's something there. This is letting you know that you have a safe home. But you also have a safe home within yourself and within this universe. You just need to study yourself and your mindsets a little bit. And I say that in that way because I don't feel like you guys have a ton of work to do, because I feel like you've done a lot of soul work. But this one blind spot holds you back from feeling the truth of gratitude. And then we have beauty, the card 4. I have a form which is divine. I allow what is within to shine. This exactly. You are seeking this clarity within yourself so that you can drop all the burdens, reclaim your power, and know that you are a co-creator in the universe. You contain the universe within you. And because of that, that makes you utterly beautiful. You don't have to try and be worthy of anything or anyone because you already are worthy. This is all about going back to your roots, going back to your foundations and building again. Building this awareness, this abundance, this lifestyle that you need, realizing that there is such a beauty in who you are and what you are. You guys may have actually been drawn to one of my community posts that I put up about Jax and the singer Jax with Victoria's Secret, and about how this body is our temple. And when you can dislike this body and feel unsafe and not at home within your body, but some of that has to do with something that happened in the past. And when you can look in the past and get that clarity, you can really, truly heal yourself. Remember that this is all about you having your own natural ebbs and flows, your own natural rhythm, your own natural waves of moving. You're the salmon. You're heading in a direction that is meant solely for you. And this is something that it was chosen for you. It was chosen for you from the day that you decided to reincarnate. From the moment your soul decided to reincarnate, this was something that was always going to be. You are a master within this universe. It's like you're an ascended master is what I wanted to say. You are this master within the universe. You are a master of the universe within you, and you are here to co-create and create the life that you desire. But you have to see the beauty of who you are first and foremost. And in order to do that, you really do need to have a clear and strong mind. Okay. Wow. These messages have been so amazing, so powerful, so illuminative. I'm just in awe. All right, pile 2. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your energy. Thank you to your guides and my guides for facilitating the connections between our energies. Thank you to this masculine father, grandfather archetype for coming through beyond the veil and bringing forth these messages. And thank you so much to Spirit. Thank you, Spirit, so much. I know that, me talking about the times in which we have not seen eye to eye and I have not been my best self and we have butt heads, and I know it's hard for me to share those moments, but I also understand the actual purpose of them and how much it can help other people realize that they are meant to go through those phases in order to come back to you. And I am just honored to be able to channel your messages to remind people of how loved they are by you. So thank you, Spirit. All right, pile 2. Thank you again for being here. If this video resonated, please hit that like button, share it out with your friends and family if you feel so inclined. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Down in the description box, make sure that you guys jump on that Mars retrograde guidebook. Mars goes retrograde tomorrow. And so the guidebook takes a couple of days to print and ship out. So I definitely want to make sure that you guys get your copy. It is available paperback, ebook, and Kindle Unlimited. If you go the Kindle Unlimited or the ebook version, those are delivered immediately, and you can get the app, the Kindle app for your phone, so you can just have it on your phone. It's actually quite convenient because I do that too. All right, and down even further, there are links. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, there are links to do that and links to donate to my channel. Let us know down in the comment section below how this resonated, how you're doing, who the archetype was that came and visited, because I really like that energy. It's very cut and dry, but very like deeply loving. So thank you so much for sharing with me. All right, pile 2. I will see you guys all at my next reading. I love you. Bye. Hello, pile 3. If you chose the third rune, the I rune, as well as the card, the Veil and the Future, this is your message from beyond the veil. And I find it really great that you guys have literally the veil, and this is from beyond the veil. And this energy here, this death card, is literally the energy that you're in right now. This is the energy that you are embodying. So this is actually like one of the most exciting energies that I have worked with in a really long time, because when I was getting prepared for your pile, I started getting messages about the veil and the nature of the veil, and how the veil is literally just, it's like a curtain. It's the curtain that hides the truth. You know, we think about curtains and we think that whatever is behind the curtain is an illusion, but in reality, the veil is what blocks us from seeing the truth. But if you see here, her eyes are covered in this blindfold. She has a very Two of Swords energy, but she's got a Two of Swords kind of high priestess energy. What I'm seeing here is the message from beyond the veil is actually your future self. Now, we think about the veil as being like the veil between the living and the dead, but that's not all that is contained behind the veil. The veil is literally just the curtain between us and the other world, us and the underworld, us and the higher realms, us and the future, us and the past. We are living in the absolute present moment, and because we live in the absolute present moment, anything and everything beyond this moment right here and right now is contained behind the veil, beyond the veil, behind it, however you want to view it. Now, you right now are going through a massive transformation. When I say a massive transformation, I mean transformation in literally every aspect of your life. Your working life, your home life, your relationships, but more than that, your internal relationship, the relationship between your divine masculine and divine feminine, the relationship between you and spirit, the relationship between you and your past self, you and your future self, you and your higher self, the relationship between you and your spirit guides, you and your angels and archangels. There's so much that is in a state of transformation right now. And this is beautiful because we are literally just into the energy of Scorpio season. And the day that I am filming this is actually the day of the partial solar eclipse in Scorpio. So this is telling me that this eclipse energy and this Scorpio season is the season that opens your eye. And I don't mean your two physical eyes. I'm talking about your third eye. And I'm not saying that it hasn't been opened before. I do see that. I do see that you are incredibly psychically gifted. But what I'm seeing here is that you are now going to start, I just heard that, so Raven. You're going to start getting visions of the future. And it's a projected, okay, how do I explain this? So I'm seeing someone with their third eye here, and it's like their third eye suddenly projects an image out onto a wall, and you're watching this projection, okay? This projection is one of many possible futures based off of the situation in which you are in right now. And because of this being one of the possible futures, you're able to project forward what this is, what the future possibility is, and then you're able to navigate whether the choice or decision that you're going to make in the present moment is the one that you want to make based off of the future projection that you can see. This is, I'm hearing, very rare, like a very rare gift. It's sort of like precognition. It's like a premonitory and precognitory, but it's not, I don't know that there's a name for it. I can see it, but I can't explain it. So to me, there's just no words in the English language that actually encompass what it is. We can combine a lot of words, but this gift that you have that is awakening through this transformation that you're going through this alignment into this blossoming, and see, as the two snakes wind around each other and then they align together. They're both aligning and aiming at this flower. And the lotus flower is actually the representation of the crown chakra. But when I was developing my third eye, I would close my eyes and focus on the darkness, and then focus on the area that would be right in between my eyes on my forehead. And I would see a flower blossoming. I would see a rose blossoming over and over and over and over again. And every time it would blossom, it would be like my third eye would clear more and more and more. This was something that I want to say I read about it, but at the same time, it was something that started naturally after a Reiki healing session where a lot of my gifts just suddenly broke through. What I'm seeing is there's so much blossoming in your life as you align this to yourself and you align yourself with this gift. Now, this may be a gift that you saw when you had when you were a child, and then something happened to make you close it off. And this can be either, we grow up and we were told all of the things that we believed in are just mere illusions, or it can be something like you went through something that was scary or traumatizing or too hard to face, and you said, I don't want this gift anymore. And now spirit and your spirit guides especially, as well as your future self, are saying this gift is ready to be reawoken. That fear that you had at one point in time is no longer your fear. You understand the nature of the darkness. You understand the nature of silence, and you understand the nature of blinding yourself, intentionally blinding yourself to what your physical eyes see, because you understand that it is within your third eye and the sight that you have there that has the truest vision of what you want for the future. And so what I'm seeing and hearing from your higher self is that this blossoming gift within you that has literally no name is something that is going to determine a lot of the future actions that you take. But it's so paradoxical, because it's going to determine the future actions you take, but it's going to determine them in the present moment. So it doesn't seem like it would make sense, because how can you determine future actions in the present moment? It's based off of when you come to a point where you have one of two choices, okay? You've got one of two choices. One choice will take you this direction. The other choice will take you this direction. It's like a fork in the road, but you want to go this direction. You want both of these choices to line up, blend together, and go forward. So you can actually project forward what it would be like to pull these choices in, to align them, and to move forward. And in doing so, you're able to actually, it's like mapping your own destiny. You're able to map what it would be like to pull two choices together into one, what it would be like to take option A or option B. Whoa. I just looked over at my camera and I saw like an orb of light fly forward towards that. And that was really, really cool. Okay. Sorry, guys. The spirit energy for these readings has been off the charts. So you're learning. Okay, the best way that I can describe this is it's something that I call a time seer, but it's not exactly the same thing, because you're not doing it for multiple people. So I'm a time seer. So what I do when somebody asks me to project something, like do a future reading, what I will do is I will sit there and I will project and see the tendrils of time and the ways that things might change, and find the tendril that is of the highest good for themselves and for the people in their lives. If I am able to see it, if I am shown that. Sometimes you can't see that because what's going on in the present moment is more pertinent than anything that can be projected into the future. For you, it's similar to that, except it's this moment it's moments in which you come to a head, and it may be a mentality of yours that it's saying, well, you can't do this and this. And you're going, okay, well, if my mind is telling me this, then I want to see what would happen if I were to choose just this. Then I want to see what would happen if I chose just this. Now I want to see what would happen if I chose to forge a path on my own of both. And you can actually like physically see it as well as seeing it within your third eye. So it's like sitting in a projection room and you're suddenly able to see the projection, and it would look like what I'm seeing is somebody who looks like they're staring off into space, but really what you're doing is you're staring into the future. And this is a gift that you've had since childhood that I can pick up. 99% of you have had this gift since childhood. And there are maybe one or two of you where this is a brand new gift being given to you from the divine based off of the experience and the work that you've done in this life. It's like, hey, let me gift you this from beyond the veil. Let me gift you this from beyond the veils, because you have now stepped into a completely different energy as you move through this transformation. So we're going to take a look at the cards over here. These are the past cards that led you into this transformational energy. And then these are going to be the cards for the future, and then we'll get some oracle cards. But I could sit here and talk about this gift and how you work it, but I feel like I would just be pretty redundant. Just because there's I could sit and try and explain it, but there's just no words. So let's find out what you did in order to get into this energy for this gift to awaken. So we have the Ruler of Swords, or the King of Swords, and we have Justice. Holy shit. As above, so below. Look at this. As above, so below. You literally rebalance the karmic scales by speaking your truth. And look, there's the butterflies everywhere. Like there's butterflies, and the scales are completely equalized. They're completely balanced. And here we have the triangle, and that makes me think of the void space. So you literally went into, it's like you, oh, you guys may have resonance with Egyptian mythology, by the way. I don't know why that came through all of a sudden. I just saw the eye with the half moon above it, and I just instantly saw the pyramids. What I'm getting here is literally like there was some sort of karmic rebalancing, but we say as above, so below. This is more as below, so above. You changed the spiritual realm through changing yourself. You changed your own mindset, your own awareness, your own intuition, your own clarity. You stood on your throne, or sat on your throne, and you said, okay, I'm getting clear on this. And I don't care what anyone else in the outside world says, because this is what I feel is my truth. And and the reality of it was that this really is the truth. It's like divine truth, like serious divine truth. And it's like you yanked it up like Excalibur, like King Arthur did with Excalibur. You yanked it up from this depths that it was stored into like the earth or into your subconscious mind. You yanked it up, and then you took the sword, you pulled it up, and then you flipped it upright, and you literally like thrust it up into the heavens. And I'm seeing this all very energetically. Like, I don't think that you actually went on a, Knights of the Round Table journey, but I mean, this could be from a past life. Absolutely. Like, you could resonate with Arthur and Merlin and Camelot and whatnot. And that could be a past life resonance for you. But what I'm really seeing is this was more internal and energetic. There was some sort of buried truth within you. And from the very start of your life, this truth that got buried, and again, this is coming back to a truth that got buried when you were a child. You buried this truth as a child. You buried this awareness as a child. You buried this gift as a child. But something inside of you hit a wall. It was like you knew it was time. It's almost like you have some sort of energetic clock. And, I don't like the concept of time a whole lot because, in the world that we live in, the way that we track time, it doesn't belie the truth of energy. And that's why for me, I stopped going based off of calendar months. Granted, like, I'll do themes for my channel, like I mentioned, No Shade November or Spooky Season for October. I'll do that. But I also understand that these messages get structured based off of the zodiac season that we're in. We're now in Scorpio season. This is literally scorpionic energy. So this is about a transformation. This is about messages from beyond the veil to help you transform. That's why there is No Shade November. And that's because I live my life based off of the energetic time rather than what the world says. And the reason I mention this is because as soon as I touch this Ruler of Swords card, that's what I see. It's an energetic clock. It's like there was this energetic egg timer within you that was tick, 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 tick. And then all of a sudden it went off and it was like, and now you were like, okay, it's time to dig in. It's time to dig down. It's time to dig deep. It's time to find this within myself. I know I have this within myself. I know it is contained within me. So I'm going to go find it. And you may not have even known what it was that you were looking for, because it feels like you donned this blindfold mask and went into the Two of Swords energy, but it was like a completely different Two of Swords. It was like this Two of Swords energy where you were like, okay, I'm willingly going to say, I'm not moving anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not doing anything until I unearth whatever it is internally that I know I can feel. It's like having a sliver inside of it's like having a sliver in your skin and you know it's there. You can feel it's there, but you don't know how to get it out because it's dug down so deep that you'd have to like dig at your skin to pull it out. And this is your mentality, your subconscious mind. So you literally took a shovel to it and just dug, knowing that as you do that, you're actually displacing so much within your mind. So you, in the past, to get yourself into this transformational state, you literally said, okay, I'm going to be as ruthless as I need to be. I'm going to be as determined and as clear cut and cutting as I need to be with myself. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to unearth this freaking sliver that's inside of my mind so I can yank it out, so I can shove it up into the sky and say, hey, I'm ready for this to be rebalanced because this is where my life is going. And I need to have this clarity from internalized awareness rather than anything else in the outside world. And as soon as you did that, it was like the outside world stopped resonating with you. And it wasn't a bad thing. It almost feels like this massive, like this huge release sigh because it's so confusing out there. Like I'm hearing a song that it's hard out here but I'm not going to continue. If you know the song, you know the song, but it's hard out here. That's the thing. Like you recognize that there was something within your mentality that made it so that you couldn't trust yourself, so that you couldn't see your own future, so you couldn't divine what you needed to do for yourself. So you sought other diviners and they served their purpose for the time that they served. But now you're here to be able to do something different. And the reason you're here to do something different is because you are different. You have different gifts and your gifts are different for a reason. They're different because that's what the world needs right now. The world needs this different. And you had that timer within you that was literally like, let's do this. Let's get in there. Let's go. Let's do this. And this is a really beautiful energy because I've never seen anything where what you did internally changed the spiritual realm. But your future self is coming forth and saying, if you allow this to open up now, let this blossom, surrender to the blossoming. You did all this work. Now you get to step out of that divine masculine energy and directly into your divine feminine energy. Now you step into this. I am open to receiving. I am open to awareness. I am open to whatever is opening and blossoming within me so that this flower can blossom, this rose can blossom, this new awareness, new awakening of your third eye can blossom completely. When you do that, you're going to see the future. And that's why I was getting that so Raven, because she was able to see like visions of the future. And it's like you're able to manipulate time now. That's so crazy. That's so crazy. Wow. I actually got a message like that, similar to Saturn's, with a slap bracelet. This is very similar energy. So let's find out, the future. We have the Four of Wands. If you guys were drawn to another pile, I just want you to know, if you were drawn to another pile, there may be other messages for you. If you weren't, don't try to make it fit. But some of you may have been, and I was picking that up because I heard something similar, but I don't want to say what I heard, because you know what, you'll know who I'm talking to, because there's someone's energy very specifically, but I don't want to mention it. And I felt that energy in the other pile. I just didn't mention it. Then we have the Seven of Wands. Okay. Look. Oh my God. Look at these wands. That's literally the motion I was making. It was this motion. Holy crap. Okay. So in the future, what you're doing is you're literally making a wish. You're planting a seed. You're able. Oh my God. It's like, okay, this Four of Wands has suddenly changed from what it was before, because I've seen this before, but now it's different. It's like a portal. This is the portal. This is what you do. You actually project into this. And the reason why you're doing this, you're projecting in to be able to find the seeds and the wishes and how to make those into your reality so that you don't have to feel like you have to defend yourself from anything and everything. It's like you can see anything that would come at you well in advance because it's like a magic mirror on the wall. My gosh, this is so cool. So it's like you have this magic mirror on the wall and you're able to project your future onto this so that you can make all the wishes that you want to make, plant the seeds for these wishes to come true, and they will. They will. And you won't have to keep defending it. You won't have to keep fighting people off because it's just what you're meant to do. So we have the Outlaw. See, this is what I was talking about. You literally we're like, okay, no, I'm going to go internal. I'm going to do this. I'm going to find this. That timer went off and you were like, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. You guys, your energy is so high. Woohoo! Oh, I feel like I'm vibrating. I wish I could I wish you guys could feel this energy. So then we have boundaries. See, this is what I'm talking about. You'll have this innate ability to have boundaries because you'll already see what's coming no matter what. And then we have ancestors. Oh my gosh. And on the back of the deck, we have love. Oh my gosh. Okay. Are you guys here from other piles? Because these messages are resonating with multiple piles. This could be collective energy because of it being Scorpio and all of these energies. But what I'm seeing here is literally like you're receiving because you literally changed the spiritual realm, you did something totally off kilter, totally out of the norm, totally off topic, off subject. You did this. And it was because of a love that you had within your heart for yourself, for your ancestors, for spirit, for this path, for the person or in your life or the person that you know is coming into your life. And so you said, I don't want to keep being distracted and being caught up in all the things outside of myself that have been halting my progress, halting my visions, halting my ability. And something within you knew that there was something more within your gifts. And so you stepped forward into this, I'm going to go on an adventure, but I'm going to go on an internal adventure. Every time I see the Outlaws card, it's like I see John Wayne holding Excalibur. It's very strange. But now you're learning how to hold down your boundaries and not have to continually defend yourself, because you don't need to defend yourself when you're moving from a state of love. And you may have struggled with where you came from for a while, because with this ancestors card, it's literally like I get this energy of struggling with your origin story. But even that is being obliterated, because you're saying, you know what? It doesn't matter where I came from. What matters is what I learned from it. It matters that I am in this state of love. And you have this clarity. You have this peace. The ruler of swords, or the king of swords, is not one that I would ever associate with like warm and fuzzy. But when you combine him with the card of love, he is like clear cut. This is who I love. This is what I love. And because this is who or what I love, screw what anyone else says, because they don't feel my heart. They don't know my heart. And that's something that makes you incredibly unique. Incredibly unique. And your ancestors are coming through and literally saying, we chose you for this. We chose you to do this. We chose you to break down all the barriers and to rebalance the karmic scales. You were chosen for this. We've got the card 11 with passion. Rise, passion, rise up high, and flame my purpose, reach the sky. See, you are ready to project your future, your purpose forward, because you're ready to embody that future. And then we have health. Mother Earth, sweet, Mother Earth, bright, bring to me your health and might. And then we've got the card 33 with creativity. And it says, by all above and all below, let me connect, let creativity flow. And with this, if you guys look, we've got 11 and 33 and the card 3, and justice is number 11 as well. But 1 and 3 make 4, and 4 and 3 make 7. Like, all of your numbers work together, they flow together. And that's the nature of this gift. It's showing you what will and will not work together, what will and will not flow together. And through that, you're able to create. And oh my God, creativity. By all above and all below, let me connect, let creativity flow. Holy cow. Whoa, I just got chills all over my body, because by all above and all below, that's literally what I said with these cards. As above, so below, but you did as below, so above. And so you really rebalanced things by changing the physical world, your mentality. You changed something here. This is incredible. And then we have the card 41, imagination. Imagination now sets me free. Divine ones, I send my thanks to thee. This to me is saying, remember where you came from. Remember what you have done. Remember what you have found within yourself. And this imagination is literally what that third eye projection feels like. It feels like you are doing visualization. It feels like you're imagining things, but you're not. You're literally imagining where you're going to go. And you're not, but at the same time, there's a message coming through. You're not imagining any of this. This is real life. This is real to you. This is real. And this divine ones, I send my thanks to thee. All I'm getting is this great magnitude of thank yous from your ancestors, and a reminder from them to thank spirit for all that you are being gifted with, because, well, we should all always thank spirit. And I don't say that to diminish you if you struggle with that. I say that because at some point you will come to the same place that I came to. The place that I came to along this journey has been one in which I realized I was going against spirit. I realized spirit was like, no, you need to do this. You need to go this way. You need to try this. You need to experience this. And I'd be like, nope, this is what society says, or this is what this group says. This is what this person says. So they have some sort of spiritual authority that I was recognizing, and I was following them. But they don't have spiritual authority over my spirit. Same as I don't have spiritual authority over yours. I can tell you these messages, but only you will know if they resonate. Only you will know what to do with them. Only you will know. because you're the one who is meant to know. I'm only meant to be the messenger here for you. So it may feel like your imagination, but it's not. It is absolutely not. And you come to this point where you realize that everything that you went through has molded you, has shaped you, and has given you the creative license and the creative freedom to make whatever it is that you want to make, to imagine the life that you desire, and for that life to come in. This is a beautiful energy. And this feels almost like a huge collective energy for some reason. So if you chose pile 3 and you haven't watched other piles, I am letting you know that there were many messages and many energies within this that are scattered in other ones. So if you feel so inclined, if you feel called, please go and check those out. If not, take what resonates here and walk away, and then hold on to the power that you feel, because I can feel your power. I can feel my solar plexus is like on fire right now in like the best way possible. This is some incredible energy. And right now, all I want to do is like go and paint. And I'm not a painter at all. So I can feel the creativity just awakening within you. But when that passion and that creativity really awaken within you, when you realize like, I'm going to do this and this and this, and I'm going to project this forward, and I'm going to let these gifts awaken, the more that you step into this creative passion, the healthier your life is, the healthier your imagination is, the healthier your body is, the healthier your mind is. You did something so amazing. And I don't know what on like the finer details it is that you did, but I can see that it was amazing. So pile 3, I want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you to your guides and my guides for facilitating the connection between our energies. Thank you so much to your future selves for coming forth and bringing this awareness in. And thank you so much to Spirit. Spirit, when we work together and we do this, we bring these messages forth to the collective, it really does make me feel like I have the most passionate purpose alive, and that I can ignite the world with that so that others feel and connect with you as well. That is my goal. And I am ever so grateful to work with you every single day. All right. Pile 3, if this resonated, please hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Down in the description box, there are links to my author page for you to check out the Mars Retrograde guidebook, as well as all my other guidebooks and my 3 self-help novels, as well as links to donate to my channel. And there are links for you to book a personal reading if you feel like you want some more directed messages. Absolutely. Book a personal book a personal reading. Sorry, my lips started itching, so I started scratching it and it got my mouth all distracted. But let us know down in the comment section below how this resonated, how you're feeling, whether you had this intuition and this awareness. I'm really curious. What do you call this gift? I want to know. All right, pile 3. Thank you again for being here. I love you all, and I will see you at my next reading. Bye. Hello, pile 4. If you chose the 4th crystal and the Scythe rune, as well as the apple card with risk and reward, this is your message from Beyond the Veil. So the energy that I'm actually picking up from Beyond the Veil is it's kind of a blend, because I was going to say it's your like inner child, younger self, while at the same time, as I was going to say that, I heard past life. But it's just like another version of who you are. And it's a version of yourself that was far more held back. It was a part of you who allowed other people's projections to really impact you. And you know, the funny thing is this is actually something that just came up in my life. And that's usually the nature of how my readings work, is like Spirit. And I talked about this when I was writing my retrograde guidebook. Spirit like blasts me with lessons and then is like, okay, now go teach. And it's always made me really uncomfortable, because I'm like, who am I to teach this? And Spirit's like, do as you're told. And if you've caught any of my videos, you know that Spirit and I have a very interesting relationship. We have a very love and then love to argue relationship. But this risk and reward, as well as the energy that I get from a younger self, especially with this 10 of Cups, which is the representation of where you're at. If you look at the 10 of Cups, it's two big hands and then there's little hands inside of it. And they're both holding themselves out to accept these cups. Now, if you think about the 10 of Cups is the happiest card in the deck. To me, at least. To me. You know, everybody has their own preferences, but to me, 10 of Cups is the happiest card. Because to me, as an empath, what is more appealing than complete and utter emotional happiness, emotional fulfillment? I mean, it's life, love, happiness, family, abundance. Like, to me, the 10 of Cups is the ultimate true happy ever after, true ultimate reward, true ultimate fulfillment. It's the journey of building up all of these cups. And we can, on this journey of building up the 10 cups, we can get really tired. We can feel like this apple, like we have risked everything in order to come into a state of love and union. And it's like people have just taken pieces of us. And that's where this Scythe rune comes in, is that from beyond the veil, this younger part of yourself or past life version of yourself, either one, take whichever one resonates right now, because both energies are here. And it's kind of hard. It's like they're the same, but they're not, if that makes sense. But both energies are here. So take whichever one resonates and you'll know what the theme is in your life currently, because that's what's playing out here. But with this younger self energy that I pick up, it's kind of like hearing the song Love Bites by Def Leppard. It's like love bites. Like you had this perception that in order to be happy, you had to risk everything. You had to risk yourself. You had to risk your hopes, your dreams, your wishes, your goals. And with the Scythe rune coming in, it's this energy and this message of it's time to cut away that perception. It's time to cut away the perception that you have to do something to be worthy of love, that you have to give up something to be worthy of blessings. I go so far against the spiritual norm because for me, I strongly dislike the notion that we have to sacrifice something or someone in order for something or someone better. I don't like that concept that we have to give something up in order to have true happiness, because if we have to give up something that we truly love, like I'm not talking addictions here. I get if you need to give up an addiction, but if you are being told you have to give up the person that you love, you have to give up the job that you love, you have to pick one passion over another because you can't do both. If you're being told that by someone, you're being told something from someone else who is in a weakened state. They're in a state that says that there's not enough for you to have all that you want. And I've been there and I've told people the same thing. Like you have to cut something. You have to cut something out in order to get something back. But that's not the case. Like, you guys are like my pile of very outspoken people. And this feels almost like at your younger age, your younger self was incredibly outspoken. You may have been told to be quiet a lot. You may have had vocular modulation disorder, I think is what it's called. So like trouble with regulating the volume of your voice. That's an ADHD, ADD thing. I have that. So like, that's why my voice will go up and down with the energies. But you may have heard a lot of these things, or heard that in order to have true fulfillment, you have to risk a lot, or it's like if in order to get any kind of reward, you have to risk your happiness. You have to risk your heart. But it was taught in the wrong way. It was perceived in the wrong way. It was seen in the wrong way. It was put forth in the wrong way. It's kind of like you're trying to follow in the steps of someone who came before you, but those aren't your steps. If you want this true ultimate fulfillment, then the biggest risk that you have to make is opening your heart. It's in taking a bite of that apple of knowledge and saying, hey, maybe I don't know it all. Maybe I don't know everything. For me, I never know what to expect when I come to my readings. I don't there was a time frame where I was literally living in my spiritual ego so strongly that I could not see beyond my own spiritual ego. I was like, I know everything. I'm just the chosen one. I'm so great, blah, 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 blah. And I got smacked down so hard, so fast. And rightfully so, yay, Spirit, for knocking me down. And even to this day, I know that Spirit's like, it wasn't really knocking you down. It was just showing you the truth. And I get that, but the human perception is like Spirit just like crumbled the pedestal. It was a definite tower moment. And I actually have learned to love not knowing things. I have learned to love the fact that I come to these readings, I come to any reading and I have no idea what to do. I have no idea what to expect. I can put structure and then the structure will change while I'm in the reading because I surrender completely to whatever it is that I feel guided to do, to say, to feel, whatever comes through my awareness, anything. It's a style of vulnerability, of transparency, of like true intimacy that I show with the outside world. Not to the same level as, say, I show with my husband, but still to the outside world. This is a true level of intimacy that I bring to the work that I do. And it's something that I was taught not to do by my parents. My parents were very, we don't talk about emotions. We don't talk about psychic gifts. Psychic gifts are for the devil. And, you know, they have their beliefs and whatever. But when I grew up, my younger self wanted to be the person that I am now. Wanted to be able to share these gifts and these insights and these wisdoms. And over time, I was beat down. I was told that I was wrong, that all of this, and it created all these mentalities that I have had to cut away from me. I have had to cut them away. The worst mentality I've had to cut away is that of sacrifice, of the nature of sacrifice, because the nature of sacrifice is not that we give up what we love in order to get some kind of better love. That is the whole notion of the grass is greener. And you know what? That kind of notion, if you have that kind of notion of the grass is greener, I'm sorry, but my truth is always going to be that the grass is greenest where you planted the grass, where you tended the grass, where you nurtured the grass. That's where the grass is the greenest. So any kind of risk that you take in order to open your heart, it's like you need to ameliorate yourself from the idea that somewhere in your childhood, you had this notion that this is how it had to be. This is how you had to be, that you had to give something up in order to gain this true happiness. It's like if I just follow in the footsteps of this person or follow in the footsteps of this person, if I just do what this person did, then I'll find my happiness. But what you're actually doing in that is you're risking your own true happiness because you're literally cutting out your heart and saying, I don't need this because this doesn't matter. This doesn't know what it's doing. And you're saying, here, Spirit, I'm going to sacrifice my heart because I think that this something is what I want. And I'm sorry, you guys, for how hard this came out because this looks like such positive energy, but I never know what to expect with the Scythe rune. And with this message, it's literally saying there is a mentality that is keeping you from stepping into the wisdom that your heart holds. You're stuck in your mindset here. Your mindset is telling you one thing, but your heart is saying something completely different. When you step into the state of your heart, whoa, sorry about that. When you step into the state of your heart is always going to override what your mind says. So when your heart resonates with something, your mind is going to be like, that's not right. That doesn't matter. That's not true. So here's the thing. I used to watch a lot of tarot readings myself, and then I stopped doing that for a while because spirit was like, if you keep doing this, I'm going to bring you readings that are going to challenge your mentality 100%. And I said, okay, bring it on. And then I didn't realize just how damaging it was going to be for my psyche. And it was literally because each and every reading that I would go to would play off of my deepest fears. And until I was willing to look at those deepest fears, those readings would send me spiraling. Now, this reading has a propensity to do the exact same thing. And I understand that everything comes full circle. But the point here is that if you're here and your mind is going, that's not right, that's not accurate, that doesn't feel right, ask your heart. Because this card right here is telling me that your head and your heart don't like each other right now. And your heart is saying you have this in your life. It may not, we structure our happy ever after in the ways that society tells us, in the ways that our family tells us, in the ways that the spiritual community tell us. But what if it was structured based off of what our younger selves believed we were meant to have? That's been a challenge for me in my life because it's like, do I remember what my younger self wanted? Not all the time. No. That's the nature of trauma. You just block out certain things and eventually your memory gets impacted. However, does that mean that you can't access it? Absolutely not. You access it as your adult self in a new way. I keep wanting to come back to opening your heart up. Open your heart and be vulnerable. Open your heart and show true intimacy. Open your heart and realize what you have to give, what you have to offer. It feels like the biggest risk you'll ever take in your life is to literally peel off the outside layer and show everyone all the juicy squishiness that you contain within your own heart. This Scythe is telling you that you have to break down the barriers, because until you break down the barriers, someone can come to you the way that I am right now and be very open and very intimate and very honest, and you won't hear it. You won't receive it. And I've been there. I've been in that place where I couldn't receive because I wasn't open to receiving, because I was so afraid. I was so afraid that I was going to receive something that was going to just utterly destroy what I had. But nothing can destroy what you have. Nothing can make you give up or sacrifice your truest happiness except for you. And if you're sacrificing your truest happiness because someone else is telling you that you need to do this, that, or the other thing, that's because your mentality is in a state of self-sacrifice. And that kind of place in your life that actually sets you directly up for seeing what you have right in front of you. This is about you realizing what is actually in front of you, not what anybody else says you have, but what you actually have. It's about looking out. For me, I look out and I see something like this, or my little witch sign. These are from the dollar store here in town. They're from the dollar store, but to me, they resonate so much. I love the glitter. I love the sparkle. I love the way that it feels like a magical essence of a tree in the fall when all the leaves have fallen. I love the way that this is just so playful and childlike while also captivating the energy of magic, because that's what I like. I like that I have a tray that looks like a gigantic candy bar, or rather a gigantic like Tutti Frutti. I love that. I genuinely do. I love that I have all of these little fake leaves that look so pretty and that make me feel, when it's cold and dreary outside, like it is my favorite season, which is fall or autumn. I love that I can find little things here and there, like a tiny little hay bale, which is just freaking adorable, that I can set up around my space that makes me feel happy and true to myself. These are things I love. Can I give them up? Absolutely, I can. But if I love them and they make me feel centered and they make me feel grounded, who is to say that that's a bad thing? There are many people who have judgments in this world, and Your message from beyond the veil is literally that your happiness lies within your own soft heart. It doesn't lie within the harsh words of others. It doesn't lie within the perceptions of others. It lies within your own true vulnerability. And that's a hard thing to accept when you've been cut down and beat down and told that this is how you have to be. I will never be that kind of spiritualist. It's one of those things where something that happened a while back, back when I had my old YouTube channel, was I made a video where I talked about one of my gifts is seeing the holes. I get sucked into these communities and I get sucked into these connections and I find the holes, I find the shadows, I find the weaknesses, and I call them out, or my energy calls them out. It's something within my energy field. This is not me bragging. This is something that was a point of pain for a long time until I realized that I can use it to bring more light into the world. If I embraced that part of myself, then I can bring more light into the world. But I trigger shadows. It's something I do. And I know that that's part of my energy. And that's something that I had to work with spirit on. It's because I can see shadows. And because I can see shadows, I can trigger them. And spirit, I had to withdraw from all my communities that I had been in. I had to literally withdraw from all of them in order to see what spirit wanted me to see. But back when I had my old channel, I made a video where I talked about how I saw the holes in communities. And the funny thing is I was in a separate community, a kind of like offshoot community from the one I was actually talking about in the video, even though I didn't mention any community names. And the leader of that offshoot community came to me in a state of insecurity, asking me what holes I saw and saying, you know, it came to my attention while watching this video. But see, that's the thing. That's the thing about assumptions. And that's what keeps you from really letting your heart be free and letting yourself see the true happiness that you have in front of you, is that the assumptions of others are really hard to cut away at because they push and push and push and project that onto you, but they're not you. Just like that perception that I was talking about was projected onto me for applying in one area, which it had nothing to do with. The assumption was a projection. Your younger self is coming through from beyond the veil and saying there are so many assumptions, so many projections that you need to cut away at. And it feels risky and it feels scary, but there is a massive level of reward in breaking down the barriers outside of your heart and allowing other people in. The more that you block other people out, the harder it is to feel this 10 of Cups, the harder it is to see the truth of what you have in front of you. And I've been there. I can't speak to anything that I have not already experienced myself and come to the other side of. I just can't. That's how my gifts work. There may be times where I say, I don't understand what this means because I am not translating in a way that makes sense to me. But it doesn't mean that it isn't an energy that my soul recognizes. You understand something here about your own heart and your own nature. But what you are struggling with is seeing that you're already in a 10 of Cups energy. You're already in this happiness energy. And if you're sitting there going, no, I know I'm in this 10 of Cups energy, then this isn't your reading. This is not your reading. And I would strongly encourage you to look at the other piles because this reading, the energy that I'm feeling, this feels blocked. If I read reversals, I would tell you that this is how it was. Because if you look here, this apple, the heart that is cut into it is bleeding down. And that's literally what it feels like, is that you have to bleed yourself dry. You have to sacrifice everything and bleed your truest self dry. You have to cut your heart out in order to find happiness. And in that way, you see true happiness as self-sacrifice. And that's unhealthy. But it doesn't mean that you're unhealthy and it doesn't mean that you're wrong. It means that your perceptions and your assumptions and the projections of others have really, really shaped a lot of where your heart is and where your heart can be. And I am so, so incredibly sorry that you're going through that. But this energy from beyond the veil, it's your younger self or your inner child, more so than any past life, but even in a past life, this energy that I'm picking up, there's such resonance between both the past life and the younger self. But seriously, like, did you ever hear that you were a quickfire or like a Spitfire kid? So like you were always on. You were always on. You knew, you were incredibly smart, but very outspoken. And as an adult, you've either learned how to be outspoken in a way that actually blocks you off completely, or you've learned how to be outspoken in a way that belies the truth that you're not being vulnerable with yourself. And it's your younger self, your inner child is like trying to rip this veil away. Like I can see a little kid carrying a scythe. It's very like Children of the Corn, I gotta say. Spooky season, you know? But it's very Children of the Corn, where your younger self is literally trying to take the scythe and cut away and cause a death of this perception that you have to bleed yourself dry in order to be happy. That no one can read you, no one can understand you, no one can do this and no one can do that. But is that the truth, or is that just how you're letting it be? All right, so let's take a look at these cards. These are the past that got you into this energy, and this is advice for the future. So the past is, why am I not surprised? The 8 of Swords and the 6 of Coins. So, or the 8 of Cups. Slip of the tongue, maybe. maybe a slip of the tongue. But you've got the 8 of Cups, and then you have the 6 of Coins. In the past, you walked away from something that was truly like an equal give and take. You walked away from a situation that was balanced, that was equal. It's almost like you were afraid of an equal energy exchange or an equal relationship or an equal working environment, whatever it was. You were afraid of it because there was true equality, there was true harmony, there was true love there. And so you walked away thinking, well, I'll never get to my 10 of Cups. I don't get a 10 of Cups. Like I have to bleed myself dry. But it was fear. It was fear from whatever you had received on the equality balance scale. And I got to tell you guys, this reminds me very much of a time before I if you can hear those alarms or the sirens, take that. I always take those as confirmation for the message that's coming through. Like Spirit's like, yeah, this is a huge thing, because it was so alarming to Spirit. Like, wait, we offered you this equality. We literally gave you equality. Why did you walk away? And you walked away because there was a part of you that was afraid. There was a part of you that was like, I have to walk away from this because you didn't know what healthy was. You weren't taught healthy, so you didn't know what healthy was, and so healthy was there. I really want to hug your younger self because I can feel this. There was so much hope in some situation. So much hope there that it was going to be different. And then it wasn't. Shit, I've been through this recently. Let's see your future. We have Ace of Wands and the 4 of Wands. This is a repeating theme. This is a collective theme. And here's the thing. There were a lot of people with a lot of similar energies, but this 4 of Wands card has appeared in 3 different readings. So if you were called to another one, You definitely have other messages. I had the feeling that these messages were going to be very similar, but when we're working with Beyond the Veil and different levels of Beyond the Veil, that's what we see. I apologize if you guys can hear the level of noise right now. I don't know if it's like they have to life flight someone close to me. I live in a very rural area, but I am like kitty cornered to a nursing home. And so I'm used to sirens going off a lot, but I'm hearing like helicopters and cops and yeah. So it's a lot. But here's what I'm getting. You may have walked away from something that was truly a balanced and harmonious situation. You may have walked away from something that really did give to you because you were afraid. Because you were afraid that if you were to face whatever it was that was gifted to you, that you would end up feeling this way. And there's that mentality within you that you can't feel this way without some sort of sacrifice from yourself. This just like somebody just generously gave to you. Somebody generously gave to you and you were afraid of it, so you ran away. And I get that. That's okay. We do that. It happens. It happens. But Spirit wants you to see that you have a 10 of Cups in your life. So we're gonna do this thing that I do with my kids. So what I do with my kids is I tell them, okay, what was in the past? And they'll tell me this is what's in the past. So I want you to say out loud, what was this past situation? If you say you don't know, you're either 1, lying to yourself, or 2, you're not in the right pile. Like, I get that I've gotten that energy twice now where someone, and if you heard me say that before and you're like, no, I picked this pile. This is the pile I want. And you still can't name this. Spirit's like, shame me once, or fool me once, shame on you. Or fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So how many times are you going to fool yourself? And I don't normally talk like this, but they're like, your younger self is someone that would have likely been called a smartass, but I would have high-fived a lot because the energy that's coming through is just like, I am going to cut to the chase. No bullshit, no fucks given. I'm going to say what needs to be said. I'm hoping this is like your teenage self because there's a lot of swears. But, all right, name this situation. Okay, once you say it out loud, now tell yourself, it's in the past. I have left it in the past. I accept now my happiness. In the present moment, I am happy. In the present moment, I have everything I need. In the present moment, I do not need of anything or anyone. In the present moment, my heart is open. In the present moment, I am open to receiving. Say these things. Whatever it takes, say these things, because you're going to, the more that you keep yourself in this present moment and out of the past, out of this rebalance or this fear-based leaving, fear-based rejection is actually, it feels like a fear-based rejection, but not something that can't be, I just heard not something that can't be undone. Ooh, sorry, hiccups and burps and whatnot. But you're going to keep pulling your energy back from that past. Pull your energy back. You want to reclaim all of the energy that you have. You want to pull all that energy back into yourself. Pour it back into yourself. Pour it back into these cups. Pour it out. That's the true nature of sacrifice. You are pulling from the past. You're sacrificing who you were in the past for the truest nature of who you are. That's going to give you this inspiration to actually see the joy and the blessings and the good luck and the wish come true that you have right in front of you. You may even see it from this past situation. So we have the cards withdraw. See? Ancestors they want to be over here. All right. And in the middle, the seeker. And on the back of the deck, we have share wisdom. Okay. Either you shared wisdom with someone or someone shared wisdom with you. and there was a withdrawal, whether it was you withdrew or someone else withdrew from you. This withdrawal feels like fear. This is asking you to withdraw from fear. In order to withdraw from fear, look, oh my God, do you see this? I just realized this. You have the same hands, only this one doesn't have the smaller hands in it. So it's like you're evolving, you're growing up. And now you can see what's falling from them as seeds. It's corn, it's teeth, it's wisdom, it's knowing, it's understanding. And over here, we've got the ancestors. There's something in your root from your childhood that is going to help awaken you to the truth. You've been seeking this 10 of Cups, but it's been here all along. It's in your heart. The longer that you withdraw from your heart, the longer you withdraw from the outside world or withdraw from the people that have just simply given of themselves freely, given of themselves to help you, whatever it is, the more that you find that you need to seek internally. Your ancestors are coming through really strongly right now. They're like holding hands with your younger self. They're really proud of your younger self for that quick fire energy. But your ancestors really want you to have this new inspiration, this new wisdom, this new insight into just what you have in your life. It's kind of like, why would you give up this happiness that you have when it's right there? Your ancestors don't want you to do that. They want you to hold on to what you have, to see that you have this right here and right now, and to realize that that your path is that you are meant to walk. It is the one you are meant to walk. You may have withdrawn from an ancestral relationship, a karmic relationship, a past life relationship. You may have withdrawn from that. And your ancestors are like, that's exactly what you needed to do, because it sent you seeking yourself. And once you sought yourself, and I just saw 33 on the clock. Once you sought the truest nature of who you are, that's when you tapped into your ancestry, your roots, your truth, your abundance, your wisdom, your inspiration. And all of this is going to be coming in. So we have the card 40 with psychic protection. Around me now, a shield of gold, protecting me strong and bold. And then 22, safe travel. Keep me safe and let me roam far away, but bring me home. And on the back of the deck, I'm actually drawn to take the 2 on the back of the deck. So we have the card 41, imagination. Imagination now sets me free. Divine ones, I send my thanks to thee. And then the card 31 with trust. I am safe. I am secure. In love, I trust. My faith endures. And now I get why they wanted me to pull both of them, because if you look, this psychic protection. So this is telling me that this is telling me that there was some sort of rebalancing. I just got a whole different storyline from this. You walked away from something because it was not fair. It was not equal. It was something that was genuinely toxic. You walked away from something that was not going to give to you. And you did that. You withdrew your energy utterly withdrew it. And you put up an entire shield around your psychic field. I actually had to do that once because a friend of mine truly, truly betrayed me. And I don't talk about psychic attacks hardly ever, because I have a hard time even like at this stage. You don't talk about things that are going to elicit fear no matter what. But I had a friend who decided that she was going to try and mentally and psychically manipulate me, and did so through telepathy. And if I were not such a strong clairaudient and heard her actual voice in my head, if I were not such a strong clairaudient, I would not have known to throw up my protective shields, to call in my psychic protection. I would not have known that. I would have believed that it was just my imagination. I would not have trusted what I knew of myself, and I would not have withdrawn from the situation. And it was a toxic situation. it was completely and utterly imbalanced, where I was giving in excess to the point that I had to go through this. This is why I say that I have to learn in order to teach. When I say I went through this recently, it was within the last year. Within the last year, this is the situation I had. And you know what's funny is when we talk about safe travels, it feels more like astral traveling to me, psychic traveling. And this is saying that this withdrawal that happened. So for those of you that withdrew because there was a toxic situation that was harming you, leaving you out of balance, not giving back to you, you've stepped more fully into that it was a risky move to walk away. It was a risky move to block it off. It was a risky move to enact all of your protective measures. It was a risky move because this person likely had a lot of spiritual gifts and could have really done damage one way or the other. It was a risky move. But for every risk that is taken and every time that you go seeking for yourself and seeking your truth and cutting away from any kind of illusions from other people, the more you step into your happiness. And now it's telling you, like, set yourself free to just be a creative. You are protected, you are safe, you are loved. But more than anything, you can trust yourself and your heart and your vulnerability and your authenticity. You can trust this because this is who you are at your core. This is who you are in truth. Okay. Your inner child or younger self really is like, you used to trust everything that I showed you and then you stopped. You used to trust a lot more than you did, and then you stopped. And this trust is something that you're being called to seek because it will bring back your inspiration. It will. Okay, pile 4. Wow, I feel like this was an all over the place reading. I really hope it resonated. Please let me know down in the comment section below. If it did resonate, please hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming readings. Down in the description box, you will find links to my author page on Amazon for that Mars retrograde guidebook. You will also find links to donate to my channel or to book a personal reading with me. All right. I want to say thank you again for being here, pile 4. Thank you to your guides and my guides for facilitating the connection between us. Thank you so much to your younger self, your past life self, and your inner child self. And thank you so much to Spirit. Spirit, I always love surrendering to you and allowing you to channel through me and bring these messages forth. And I am always ever so appreciative of the work that we do together, even in times where I have to go through situations like this and then come forth and share them with the world, as uncomfortable as it makes me. I'm really honored to be able to follow your directions. So thank you, Spirit. All right, pile 4, thank you again for being here. I love you all. I will see you at my next reading. Bye.